Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
We just want to make sure that you all can hear us first, so let's go and run that test. Let's go here.
When we started before, we had a few technical issues, so we want to make sure before we say all of that. Is this set for private?
Let me make sure. It shouldn't be. It's public.
Okay. I can hear. Okay.
Oh, good. Everyone can hear us. Okay, great. So we just need to see what's going on here.
Maybe refresh on the other page, perhaps.
Close this down.
Okay, family. Let's try this again.
Just bear with us one moment. Let me just get this.
We want to be able to follow along with you all.
You remember what you would type in there, live feed or something?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to take it back how far?
Here, all the way to the line there and see. I think it's the watchman on the wall.
That should do it.
We apologize for getting to you so late, family, but let's go ahead and do this.
Well, we're going to say this again. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
We want to talk to you a little bit about the marriage series that we're going to be doing. Basically, we're going to be addressing many issues in marriage, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's just a lot of different topics we're going to be covering. It's a lot of topics, so this is just a few. We're going to be covering selfishness in a marriage, infidelity, having children, financial irresponsibility, fights, building a life together, sexual and emotional and spiritual problems, having balance in your marriage, and also domestic violence and many other topics too.
Okay, and some of the other topics are going to be the foundation of marriage, the spiritual connection to Elohim, not on natural things like sex and appearance and finances and educational or offspring, but the spiritual things.
Yes.
Understanding marriage and the mystery of marriage, because family, the scripture clearly tells you that there is a mystery in marriage. And unfortunately, many of us don't understand what that mystery is, and so we only look at things from a natural perspective. So we're going to be talking about that mystery of marriage.
Yeah, what's amazing about the mystery is the mystery actually helps you to keep your marriage in order.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the Most High first revealed to me about the mystery, it made me look at my marriage and look at the mystery. And it helped me to keep things in line. So I knew if I was going off and things didn't look right, I knew what to look for. Okay, we're going to cover the order in marriage. The Messiah is the head of man, man is the head of woman, and of course, a woman is to cover her head when she praying or prophesying, and both are the head of their children.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things that a lot of people get out of order.
Yes.
The order of marriage. You have women stepping out of their lane. You have men who won't drive in their lane. I mean, it's just so many different things
yes.
going on.
That's right.
And so being on one accord, that's going to be the thing that's going to help in any marriage, okay?
Yes.
Being on one accord. Without being on one accord, you can forget it, okay?
Yes.
And we're talking about being on one accord spiritually, financially, educationally, and your overall family desires and your health.
That's right.
Every aspect of our lives in a marriage should be on one accord. And without that, we already understand what happened in the very beginning. We have some notes here that we were going over. We want to make sure that we didn't miss anything, but that's just some of it.
Yes.
We would like to open up for questions, not right now.
Yes.
This is just kind of like a preview to what's going to take place, but we would like to open up for questions. Any questions that are sent to us, we won't reveal the name, of course. We'll just address the question and give the best spiritual answer that we can give, the best natural answer, because some things are very natural.
That's right.
Like when it comes to one of the things we just kind of discuss among ourselves some of the things or some of the issues that people in general are going through as it relates to marriage. And if a spouse has a question like or a feeling that comes over them, and they say, "I can't stand him." What do I do when I just can't take it no more? Likewise, if the man says, "Look, I'm just not feeling this thing anymore," you got to understand where all that is coming from.
Yes.
It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. And
most people don't want to examine themselves.
Yeah, the root of it. Yes. Like my wife said, it's really sad when you look at how bad marriage is being attacked.
Yes.
I mean, it's so bad now that I saw statistics a few years ago, and they were saying it was more than 80% of black marriages end up in divorce. That is horrible. 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a few years ago. And so there's something wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered part of the problem is when we go into marriage, when we first get married, we're coming out of a single life, and in that single life we done picked up a big baggage of stuff, and we bring that baggage and stuff right into our marriage. Mm-hmm. And then no wonder our marriages are falling apart. It's because we're dealing with this baggage of stuff. And so the person, he marries her, she marries him, not realizing, man, I didn't know you had all this baggage here. And so instead of a person saying, well, you know what, some of this baggage I need to let go of, a lot of times they say, no, I'm not letting go of nothing. And then you have a lot of things going on like selfishness and things like that, and other problems that leads to other problems. And so this is why we gotta, this is why a lot of marriages are falling apart. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of people that are really trying to analyze their marriage or saying, what can I do to make this work? Mm-hmm. How important is your marriage? I mean, I've seen people throw their marriage under the bus like that's not worth anything.
One problem I see too is most people go into marriage for a number of different reasons,
yes.
but most of them is because they say they're in love, right?
Yes.
And when you feel that you're in love, you go into marriage, you got that honeymoon, right? And so we're going to be discussing how to come down from cloud 9, because once you come down from cloud 9, there are real life issues to deal with.
Yes, that's right.
How are you going to pay your bills? Once you start having children, how are you going to deal with them?
Yeah.
And most people think that throughout their marriage, they're going to remain on cloud 9. There's going to be some days to where that spouse, whether it's the husband or wife, is going to get on your nerves.
Yes.
And you need to know how to deal with that.
Yes.
And you need to know how much you have to invest in making this thing work.
Yes.
Because if you're looking at your spouse as if they are the only ones who have to put forth any effort, that they have to pretty much put up with whatever it is you put out, that's not fair. That's not
right.
fair. And so, we're going to really dive into this marriage series, family, taking questions and just doing the best that we can, because you need to know how the enemy has slipped in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we got to say this is one thing that we have discussed, family. Not every marriage was put together by Yah.
Yep.
And there lies the problem.
Yep.
The scripture says, whom Yah have joined together, let no man put asunder. So that pretty much lets you know that some marriages were not put together by Yah.
That's right.
Some people went into it because of lustful desire. Some people exited one marriage and went into another because they left this spouse, which Yah probably did join them together with, and they saw that Brenda had a big old butt. You know what I'm saying? Any of you who knew that song, that was a song from a long time ago. You know, where they used to talk about how this one got a big old, and so I'm leaving you, right? And so you have a lot of situations where people step outside of their marriage and they want to form a new union with someone else, and they're taking that same person into this new union. And so those are the things we're going to talk about, family.
Yes.
And we hope that you will be blessed from this. And those of you who feel like your marriage is on the downfall, like things are about to end and that's it, I can't deal with him or her anymore, it is our hope and our prayer that we can help some of you fix things.
Yes.
Fix things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like we said, there's a lot of things we're going to be covering, and one of the things that I can't wait to really dive into is the foundation. You know, getting into the foundation of marriage, down into the mystery of marriage. I think the very first one we're going to tackle is probably going to be the mystery of marriage, because we want to get into the foundation so you will understand what marriage is about, you know, what it's supposed to be about. And so, you know, diving into this, I hope that that the Most High really bless everyone that views it and hears what we have to say, and you know, to see what we've learned over the years to help our marriage. And I thank the Most High, you know, for the knowledge and understanding, you know, that He's given us concerning marriage. Marriage is supposed to be like a dance, okay? It's supposed to be just like two people dancing, like a waltz. You know, they're waltzing or they're just dancing together. And can you imagine two people dancing together and one want to do something different than the other one, and they're trying to hold hands, and it's just, it won't work. They'll trip and fall over each other. And
or you said the waltz, right?
Yeah.
But what if I want to do the hustle?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to waltz and she trying to do hustle. You know what I'm saying? So it just ain't gonna work. We'll trip and fumble over each other. Marriage is supposed to flow. Marriage is supposed to have balance. It's supposed to have something more to it than just sex. You understand what I'm saying? It's supposed to be more to it than just that. It's more to marriage than just having children. It's a lot more to it. This thing is spiritual.
Yes, it
Yeah, it's
is.
spiritual. Don't you see the scripture when scripture says they two shall be one flesh? That's so deep in that alone. So I hope that this thing really blesses some of you all, and I hope that it helps your marriage. And some of you out there, you know what we're talking about. Some of you have marriages that are probably doing pretty good, you know. And so you understand it because the Most High revealed some things to you. And one thing I want to say this is that you gotta love the spouse. You know, if there's not real love there, you know, can't nobody help a marriage if there's no love. It's just on its way out.
Yeah,
So,
you should never marry a person because you're in love with outward features and
Yes.
body and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Unfortunately, so many marriages form for all of the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I did want to say this too. When we first announced that we were going to do this, we did get some questions from those of you who are single, and you wanted to know if this series is for single people too. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
it is, because we are
Yes.
talking about the mystery of marriage. We're
Yes.
talking about the spiritual aspects of marriage and the natural. So
Yes.
this is not just spiritual. So those of you who are not married, we want to talk to you about the first marriage that you actually have is with the Most High.
That's right.
And having that marriage that you have with Him, having that close relationship with Him is better than your natural marriage. Because believe it or not, when you have that relationship with the Most High that is rooted and grounded in truth and love and compassion and honor and love and all of that, you can carry that on over to your natural marriage as well.
That's right.
And so definitely this is for the unmarried too.
Yes.
This marriage series.
Yes, that's right. The unmarried, you see, if you get the right understanding, you'll go into your marriage without bringing all that baggage we talked about. You'll go into your marriage. When you get married, you'll go into it. You'll have a good understanding, and you'll be able to talk to your spouse and let your spouse before or the person that you're courting, they can get an understanding too. And believe me, growing up in the assembly, in the churches back in the days, I just want to tell you, but my pastor of old wouldn't even marry a couple unless they had counseling with him first. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of pastors that say, "Now y'all gonna have counseling first. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna talk about this thing before y'all go and get married, and I want to see where your heart is." The reason for it is it's a lot on a pastor to marry a couple because he's saying, I'm joining you two together. Well, he's going to be responsible for you too because he's saying, I'm joining you together. So that's why I had spoken before when someone asked me to if I could marry them. I said, well, I don't know if I could do that because I have to really know a lot of personal information about the couple, both him and her, and detailed information, because that helps me to see where people's hearts are, and that helps me to see whether the marriage will last throughout their lifetime.
Yeah, we've had a number of people who have contacted Watchman and wanted him to just marry them. And no offense to anyone, but a lot of times we're doing things in this current state that we're in.
Yes.
We're not doing things according to Scripture at all.
Yes.
And so you'll have a person say, "Well, I like him, I like her, I want to get married," and they don't really want to tell you anything. They don't want to tell you how they. I mean, we've literally had people who were already married, ain't even dissolved the marriage with the other person, asking if they can be married, and it's like. We're not going to be partakers of somebody else's sin. That's just because right. you say you want to have an honorable man to join you with your new spouse. Things have to be done decently and in order. It's not just an issue of can you officiate this for us.
That's
you
right.
see, things have to be done according to Yah's will and purpose and plan and all of that too. And even the whole way in which marriages are formed. You have young people, for instance, when you marry your children off, a lot of times when children are being married off today, it doesn't even resemble how it was done back in the day. A young man lusts after your daughter and he wants to take her hand in marriage. You don't know nothing about him. He's making all these promises from across the country, and you haven't even met him, but he wants your daughter's hand in marriage. You see, if you do things according to Scripture, then if you really love someone's daughter, you wouldn't have a problem if that father said, "I tell you what, why don't you come," like they did Jacob, our forefather Jacob. He was willing to work 7 years in order to have Rachel's hand in marriage. And
ended up working, 14 before he actually was with her.
He ended up getting Leah first, you see. And not saying that that's the way it should be done because that's how Jacob did it. But what if a father did say, hey, if you want to be my future son-in-law, I want to spend some time getting to know you before I just hand my daughter over to you.
That's right. That's wise. You see, that's a man being wise, saying, no, I want to get to know you first. I want to see what kind of man you're going to be to my daughter. And so, trust me, family, it's a whole lot to this,
Yes.
And so I'm really hoping that it would really enlighten you all. Marriage is truly a mystery, and I mean to you, it is a deep mystery. And once you really understand this mystery and you get your eyes open, you'll say, wow, I get it. And so you'll begin to see yourself, because part of making a marriage work is denying yourself.
Yes. That's right.
Because now you have another person. So now you have to learn how to deny yourself, because now there's going to be a lot of things that yourself is going to say, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And it might not be good for the two of you or for your spouse. You get what I'm saying? And so you got to really think things out. It's like I said, it's a lot to it.
I have a good example too of what you're saying. Deny yourself.
Yes.
If you are a woman and you're getting married and you were used to hanging out with the girls every Friday night or every Saturday night or whatever it was you did, or if you were a brother who was used to hanging out with the fellas all the time, y'all was just hanging out, that was y'all thing, you did it every week. When you get married, that changes.
Yeah.
You can't go hanging out with the fellas every night. You can't go hanging out with the women every night. You have a husband now. You have a wife now. And so you have to nurture your marriage. And if you have friends who don't understand that, then are they really your friends?
That's
so
tough.
again, there are so many different things we're going to talk about. Keeping folk out of your marriage. So many people input others into their marriage.
Yes.
And you will have people whispering stuff to you about your spouse. Now, it's different if, you done got into it, there's some domestic abuse, you better listen to somebody.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is when you are entering into marriage and you have your in-laws who are telling you how to do things and telling you, don't let that man tell you how to dress. Don't let that man tell you what to do and all.
Telling you how to run your marriage, yeah.
Right, exactly. You have people who will do that.
Yeah.
They're actually trying to help you ruin your marriage.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not trying to help you. They're trying to tell you as a woman, put your foot down. Don't let that man tell you how to dress. Don't let that.
Yeah.
That's a person who means you no good.
Yes.
And you have to turn them off and not really pay attention to that.
That's right.
It is our hope and our desire to give you some sound advice and wisdom on marriage.
Yes.
We've been together a long time, my husband and I, and I know there are some of you who have been together probably longer than we have. Okay, we've been married since 1995, so we've been together for a long time, and I thank y'all for every experience. We have grown so much we've grown.
Yeah.
And many of you already know that I'm younger than my husband. Almost 10 years separates us in age, but that is good. That's good. It is working together for us, and I had to learn him. He had to learn me, and so we are hoping to impart into you some of the things that we have learned on this journey, because marriage is a journey.
It sure is. It is a journey.
It is a journey.
I feel like me and my wife have been on a long journey.
Yes.
I'm kidding you. And it's to the point now that I'm gonna tell you, it's amazing. It's to the point now that I can't imagine going into any adventure without her. It just wouldn't feel right. I couldn't enjoy anything without her.
Same
and
here.
so it's kind of the scripture says, "They two shall be one flesh." It's like trying to enjoy doing something, and you gonna leave your arms in the room. You're one flesh now. You can't walk without both legs. You can't work without both arms, and so it's kind of like we're one now. And so I understand the importance of being one and being on one accord. One accord in every area, spiritually, financially, educationally, health-wise, and just in your overall desires. Being on one accord is so important.
Now, it wasn't our goal to stay before you long tonight.
Yes.
This was just the introduction so
Yes.
that you all, because many of you were asking, when are we going to get started with the marriage series? And so this is just the introduction.
Yes.
We are going to cover individual topics.
Yes.
We're going to hit them one by one because there are so many. And I'm pretty sure that with your input, there will be many more.
Yes.
Many more that we will cover, things that we can't even imagine.
Yes.
Various questions that we will address. But the first thing, like Watchman said, we're going to cover the mystery of marriage.
Yes.
And then we'll just take it from there. We'll take it from there.
Absolutely.
We love you, family.
Love you.
It is almost midnight. And so we ask that you all please share this video for those who may not know that we're going to be doing this
On this channel, yeah.
On this channel. So if you share this video, anyone who watches this particular video, please subscribe to this channel. This is not our regular Watchman Reports channel. This is the Watchman on the Wall.
Yes.
So subscribe to this channel so that you can get the notifications for when we have a new episode of the marriage series, okay? And again, to those of you who have joined us together in the chat this evening, please share this video so that those who may not have subscribed to this channel can do so.
Yes.
We thank you for joining us, and we say stay tuned. It's going to get hot, family. We're going to keep it real.
We're going to keep it real.
We're going to keep it real because, you know, marriages are on attack. They are being attacked. And the attacks don't stop.
That's right.
You know, even in our household, even with our family, we see the enemy is always trying to get into little situations and want us to be at odds with each other about just any little thing. It doesn't even matter. You know.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to drop this in there real quickly. I remember years ago, if me and my wife would get into an argument sometimes after a day or two, we wouldn't even remember what it was. And I'd be sitting there saying to myself, man, what did we argue about in the first place? And if you have to sit back and think about it, then that tells you something is going on. Yeah. And so it took us a while when we got to read other scriptures. I said, man, it's a spirit that's trying to break us up. So when we started identifying the spirit, I knew then, I said, man, that's why these issues that people argue and fight over, they be so minute, some things. You'd be surprised people getting divorced over simple things. He ate my sandwich, you know. Soups, very little minute things. Oh, he took the car, and it's just minor stuff that people are actually getting divorced over, you know. And so getting into major fights over. And so when you begin to realize that it's demons, spirits that's actually trying to break up your marriage, when you understand that, then you say, man, the enemy is not my husband. The enemy is not my wife. Okay? And when you get that in your thinking and you see it, then you both get it, then now it's easy for y'all to deal with it. So it's like, oh, okay, something is tugging at me a little bit. I know now this is a spirit, and you can rebuke the spirit. Yeah. Instead of going off on your wife or going off on your husband, you know, whatever is getting you emotional, getting you upset or whatever, this outside is trying to bring it into your marriage, basically.
Yeah, just like the scripture says, it says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's right. So when something is going on in your marriage, you have to understand that it is the enemy. Now, you could be in a situation, and I get a lot of messages from sisters. Sisters, please continue to send your messages. We will try to address those issues. But a lot of times, sisters feel like there is nothing that they can do. They feel like their husband is literally lost and gone, pulling away, and they don't know what to do to recover that man. He's under attack. And
big time.
Yeah, he's under attack. And, you know, the scripture talks about calling for the mourning women. That's one of those jobs that we are going to have to do and take it seriously. Not saying that if a man is beating you and doing all this kind of crazy stuff to you and you feel threatened, I'm not saying, I mean, for that kind of man, you pray for him from a distance, okay? But if you know that you love this man and you can identify that something is going on, then you're going to have to hit those knees. You have to turn down the plate. I know it's easier said than done, family, because sometimes we get a little impatient and we don't feel like waiting for the prayer to take hold. And then we also have to remember, like I said early in the video, we have to remember that some marriages were not put together by the Most High.
Yeah, what you got to understand too is if you're a righteous person, right, and your spouse is going in a bad direction and you don't know what to do or whatever, you got to understand something. There's a lot of power in that relationship you have with Yah because you're righteous. And uttering words like, may the Most High judge between me and you, can cause the Most High to judge him in a way to where he could turn him around and make him see, oh man, I was going down a bad road. Most High started doing this to me and doing it to me. And now I see now this ain't the road I want to go down. And so the relationship that you have with Yah is very important, that relationship stays strong when you get married. Okay, because that's the substance that actually keep your marriage together is actually Yah. He's the foundation. Okay, but we're not going to hold you much longer. I know we can go on and on about this marriage thing. You know,
Yes.
like I said, there's so many angles, so many different things, so many different topics that we're going to cover. But I just want you to tune in, and like my wife said, share it on Facebook, share it with other people, because there are a lot of folks that still don't know that we're going to be doing things on this channel. So we want them to know that. Okay. But anyway, on that note,
we're going to say shalom.
Yeah, we're going to say shalom.
And enjoy the rest of your evening.
And get some rest.
Okay, bye family.
Shalom.